Aloha, I'm Paul Drews. Welcome to another edition of PTC TV, brought to you by PTC'13 Platinum sponsor Equinix. This is the second of 5 programs specially created for PTC'13. If you missed the first program, you can watch it online after the conference by visiting the PTC website at ptc.org.
Hi again, I'm Sharon Nakama, PTC CEO. I hope you are enjoying your time in Honolulu and at PTC'13. This year's theme is Capacity, Capability, Collaboration. What's new at PTC'13? First and foremost, we're featuring 8 executive Insight Roundtables. You asked for a high level of interaction with senior industry leaders, and that's exactly what these roundtables accomplish. These Executive Insight Roundtables take place on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Arrive early so you don't miss out on the discussion. Backed by popular demand are 2 handy resources, the mobile app and the digital kiosk located throughout the conference hotel. Both will give you up-to-date information. You'll also be able to watch the new format of PTC TV on your in-room television at the Hilton on Channel 35. There will be a new show daily, so be sure to tune in. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.
Mobile traffic has had some interesting impacts to the mobile ecosystem. First and foremost would be mobile network operators. For the longest time, mobile networks tended to be a single application network, and that was voice. This is very similar to the behavior we saw 14 years ago when public ISPs came together in our facilities in order to peer and localize the exchange of traffic with one another in order to make sure that the internet delivered a positive experience. We're now seeing the same thing from the mobile network operators. There are some interesting secondary effects to other members of the mobile ecosystem for very similar reasons. A good example would be social media platforms and advertising platforms that tend to co-locate next to one another in order to serve content as efficiently and quickly as possible. Another good example would be handset OEMs, who will tend to proxy things such as email and other types of popular content in order to make sure the end user has a positive experience.
Aloha, my name is Julie Ford. I'm here with PTC TV, and today we have Dr. Richard Taylor.
Hey, Julie.
Hello, thank you for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
I'm going to brag about you a little bit.
All right, let's hear it.
Dr. Taylor was just elected for his 2nd term as president and chairman of PTC's Board of Governors. He's also an attorney and a professor with Pennsylvania State University. Thanks so much for joining us.
It is my pleasure, Julie.
Well, as you're leading this organization, can you tell us what you see ahead in the future for PTC?
Well, I think PTC will continue to be sort of the flagship meeting place for companies in the telecom enterprise area doing telecommunications business in the Pacific region. And we intend to grow that approach by expanding our services to our members, not only through the annual conference, but through activities throughout the year.
Can you tell us more about that? I know some of those are very well-kept secrets and folks don't know about them.
Well, we've actually been doing a lot of things the last couple of years. We have undertaken an initiative in the area of education and training for telecom executives in the Pacific Islands. We have started projects in 5 different projects in different countries around the region that were developed by the business side, not as academic research projects, but by sort of hands-on, development projects involving telecommunications. And on the scholarly side, we have a whole initiative called the Young Scholars Program, which is really based around the idea of capacity building for the region so that we are training future leaders in not only understanding and implementing telecommunications, but in policy and in networking with their peers in other countries. So we're trying to bring those kinds of activities which help us fulfill our nonprofit mission out into the region.
That's wonderful. And will we be seeing any of the scholarship students here, the young scholars?
Yeah, this is our first year to do that, and we accepted many applications for this program, which brings young PhD students to the conference to networked, to be mentored, to be record the sessions and so forth, and to help them network with each other and with the members to so that when they go back to their countries, they can use that to continue the development.
Increase the knowledge base.
Yeah.
Well, so for somebody who's new to PTC and for this year, let's say, what do you tell new folks that are here this year but may not be members?
Join. That's what I tell them. I think there's enormous value. There is the obvious short-term value in the reduction of the registration fee, and there are two aspects of PTC which are really useful to them. One is the conference itself and the thought leadership and information that comes from top-level executives across the industry. And on the other side, there are people who we understand may not spend all their time at the conference, but are in suites in the hotel and in related facilities, networking and doing business and writing up contracts and selling capacity and all of the related kinds of activities that go on. And there's an enormous amount of business done. So that is a good reason to join, and we hope that really everybody who's here who hasn't joined yet will do so right away, actually. Yeah.
Wonderful. And we know that the networking and the business is something that people rave about year after year. So that's something that you'll...
It's Hawaii is called the meeting place, right? The Oahu is.
Right.
And it is indeed a wonderful venue. People come, they do business, they attend the conference, and it's not unknown that they will stay over a day or two or bring their family and enjoy the wonderful facilities here. We have a great relationship here with the Hilton. Hawaii is just, in my opinion, the most beautiful place in the world. So it's really a great place for them to come.
I agree. I agree. Well, congratulations on your second term. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Sure, absolutely, my pleasure.
And we encourage
thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. And I want to encourage folks that if you see Dr. Richard Taylor, please say hello to him, get to know him. He's a wealth of information. Thanks so much. Julie Ford with PTC TV. Aloha.
PTC'13 is made possible in part by the generosity of the PTC'13 sponsors. Mahalo to the PTC'13 Diamond sponsors. Thank you for all of your support.
Aloha, I'm David Lassner with the University of Hawaii, and we're here at PTC'13 to share a little bit about the program. I'm here with two of the three program co-chairs, Gary Kim, Joe Weinman. Unfortunately, Masaaki Sakamaki could not be here with us today. So first, Joe, can you tell us what the theme of the program is and why?
Yes, the theme is capacity, capability, collaboration, and what that really represents is the evolution of telecommunications over the last few years. So obviously, raw capacity is important, and this is a huge conference that brings together everyone from global service providers to the equipment vendors in satellite and subsea cable and so forth. But beyond just that raw capacity, what we're seeing is the telcos today and other service providers need to compete based on capabilities. So those capabilities could be everything from portals, enhanced flexibility, new services riding on top of that raw capacity, et cetera. And so ultimately what it's all about is about collaboration across the ecosystem. And that collaboration is everything from various partners, which is how this conference really started, so that various service providers across the world could really interact with each other. But beyond that collaboration, it's also about how over-the-top providers can collaborate with the bandwidth providers. It's about how customers can engage more creatively with those service providers. And it's really about the services, which can include collaboration, for example, video conferencing, cloud services, et cetera, that sit on top of all of that. So it's really come a long way from its roots to this broad view of services across this new distributed communications and IT fabric that the world is seeing.
Thanks. Gary, you've done this for a few years now. How does PTC'13 differ from previous PTC conferences?
I would say that the biggest thing this year is a really dramatic increase in participation by regulators from Japan and policymakers from other areas of the world. That's something that historically has been really important to PTC. And you know, from year to year we sort of wiggle around a little bit, but this year there's a very strong program, and Masaaki actually is responsible for that.
That's great, thanks. So Joe, what are you most looking forward to seeing this year?
Well, it's really a mix of things. There's no one single thing that I'm most looking forward to here, because it's just great to catch up with colleagues and hear insights from the various people that are participating in different ways in the conference. But my own personal area of interest is all around the cloud, and specifically how the cloud and communications work together. I've always been a strong proponent of the notion that the network is essential to the delivery of cloud services, whether it's wireless networks or wireline, and whether it's not just the internet, but also more core access and transport optical services. So for me, being able to have all these players here and interact with them really can help build this view of this new emerging world where the network is really playing a much more critical role. And then my own personal angle on this is the fact that I've been focused on cloud economics for the last few years. So I'll be talking about how those various architectural considerations interplay with business value for customers and how that all ties back to the network plus IT concept. And then,
and the title of the book is?
Cloudonomics. Thank you.
Cloudonomics.
My agent here, exactly. So
it's good.
Yeah. So
available through Amazon?
Available everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Everywhere. Okay.
Except the airport bookshop. So in any event, I think the key thing is that when people talk about the cloud, they think about it very simplistically, things like cost reduction and business agility. But what we're seeing is the cloud can enable new business models like operational excellence and product leadership and customer intimacy, and even things like an enhanced customer experience, which ultimately ties back to revenue. For example, better proximity and latency through a dispersed footprint can lead you to reduced interaction times, better response time, which really translates directly, as many studies have shown, into additional revenue.
And which all requires capacity, capability, and collaboration to pull off.
It does, and wireless networks for that matter.
And Gary, what are you most looking forward to at this PTC?
Well, I'm an old telco guy, fixed network guy, so what I've discovered over the past 20 some odd, close to 30 years, is that I spend almost all my time now on mobility and wireless. So I'll be looking for any ways that untethered services, demand for applications, mobile devices, reflects back on what we have to do in terms of infrastructure to support all of those new apps.
And if we kind of are interested in what you're seeing, maybe you have a blog or something people could check?
Yeah, I do. Just go to Google and enter my name. That's all you need to do.
Gary Kim, Google. And thinking ahead to something by the time you finish this program, what are you thinking about else that you wish we had gotten here?
It's hard to picture there's anything else that we wish we had gotten here because the agenda is packed. There's multiple tracks for 4 solid days and workshops and networking events. So I'm not sure that anyone could survive any more information or activity.
Thanks. So for PTC'13, see you around the ballrooms with Gary Kim and Joe Wyman. Aloha.
Would you like a quick and easy way to keep track of the conference program and schedule? Download the PTC'13 mobile app and favorite the sessions you'd like to attend. Learn about the PTC'13 sponsors and find out where the meeting suites are located. You can do all of this and more. Visit crwd.cc/PTC'13 on your mobile device or search for PTC'13 in the App Store. PTC TV is brought to you by PTC'13 Platinum sponsor Equinix. Mahalo, Equinix. Thank you for supporting PTC TV.
Hi, I'm Gary Kim, and I'm here today with Jim Poole, who's a general manager with Equinix, and he runs their global and mobile business. Jim, one question. In your meetings today with potential clients here at PTC, is it more enterprise? Is it more carrier? What are you looking for?
For us, it's really a carrier event. We have probably slightly more than 900 carrier customers, and it's great to be able to come into some place where literally everybody I talk to is someone we do business with.
Question for you. In terms of architecting a global network, back in the old days with voice is very latency tolerant. You could put your central offices wherever you wanted. You could put your tandem offices wherever you wanted. These days, most of the bits that are flying over the global network are IP bits. They're content bits. And I'm guessing that has something dramatic to do with how you design a network and why a company like Equinix is growing so fast.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole reason our business exists is because of the proliferation of content and applications over the internet. When we got started 13 years ago, we were responding essentially to the ISP community, trying to figure out a way to better scale connectivity between each other. They used to run metro circuits, and that was expensive. They tended to go down. If you put everyone in the same building, in a meet-me room style environment, you get far better scaling efficiencies. And it used to be that was just communications. Now what's happened is you have basically every part of the digital ecosystem coexisting in common sets of facilities such as ours.
So in essence, and if I use the incorrect metaphor, correct me, the whole idea now is to put the transport core networks in the same place as the people who are serving up the content so the end user experience is better?
Absolutely, yep. You put everybody in the same place, and then you generally have to localize the content. People's expectations of the performance of applications tends to be driven by history. So it used to be a computer sat under your desk. Well, now a computer sits in, quote unquote, the cloud connected to a telecommunications network. Well, that means that source, whatever it is, a server sitting somewhere, has to sit relatively close to the end user for there to be acceptable performance.
Let's talk a little bit about latency from the standpoint of me, little end user somewhere. My experience of voice is, well, it's changed over the last 20 years. I mean, I can tolerate a lot less quality and robustness in my voice. On the other hand, when I'm consuming content, I notice that I get cranky much faster. Why is that?
It's funny. It's speed is its own reward. It's sort of a human characteristic to want more and more. But it's really driven by what I was saying before about the fact that most people's expectations around the way they deal with applications or content was driven by historical behavior where the actual server sat under your desk, right? So all of a sudden, if that thing moves hundreds of miles away, you start to end up with more latency and you're less tolerant of a poor experience. And so what we've seen in our business is we've had to expand to keep up with that demand. So, today we're in 15 countries in 31 metro markets around the world, and constantly looking at new expansion markets precisely because this phenomenon is a global phenomenon. It happens everywhere. And particularly in the PAC Rim, it's the fastest growing part of our business.
Now, I would guess, at least, well, this is my personal opinion, over the next 20 years, Asia Pacific is going to come to represent what percentage of total global communications activity would you guess?
Oh, I'd say, relatively shortly it'll probably be 50% of what you see spent in total. I mean, in our own company, it's not only, it's the smallest portion right now, not by a lot. It lags a little bit behind our European business, but it's growing twice as fast.
Okay.
So.
And not to be heretical, but I'm an old telco guy.
Okay.
And as I look at the function of networks these days and what it is my end user customers are really looking for, I'm sort of thinking that the global network now has to be a giant content delivery network more than a voice network.
Yes.
Is that overstretching it? Or is that
No, not at all. I mean, it's, the whole phenomenon of first it was content, it was video, and video is actually also a tolerant thing. You can queue it. You can fake out the end user into things. It doesn't have to be exactly as fast.
Yeah, unless it's live, real-time video conference. Now you're dead.
Now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
when you get symmetrical communication, and that's applications or teleconferencing. Teleconferencing used to be the exception to the rule. Now, all of a sudden, every application you can imagine has gone onto the network, and those are all symmetrical applications, so therefore the tolerance and the demands of the end user are quite high in terms of what they expect the experience to be.
Jim, thanks very much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching.
Now more than ever, broadband is life. It's the modern heartbeat that connects our world. And like our own heartbeat, we take it for granted that it'll always be there, until the day it's not. Too much is at stake for businesses to rely upon old technologies trying to catch up with today's broadband explosion. Ciena is different. We expected the inevitable and designed fiber optic networks that could handle it. The Ciena GeoMesh unifies terrestrial and submarine networks like never before. It's intelligent, self-aware, and self-healing. When submarine cables get cut or terrestrial links are damaged, the system automatically reroutes communications in milliseconds. So if Ciena's GeoMesh can keep connectivity working at the worst of times, just imagine how well it performs at the best of times. With demand for broadband increasing by 40% a year, and submarine cables quickly approaching terabit carrying capacities, businesses need global networks they can trust to handle their skyrocketing challenges. Our streamlined network delivers faster speeds, reduced latency, and fewer points of connectivity to manage and worry about. It all adds up to improved performance, lower operating costs, and greater cooperation. It's no wonder that Ciena has become a dominant player in the submarine network market in just a few years. And when you consider that a submarine cable is severed once every 3 days, or that a terrestrial cable is damaged every 30 minutes, an intelligent, self-healing network is critical. However, the greatest threat isn't a natural or man-made disaster. It's becoming one of these guys, being left behind because demand outstripped performance. Broadband is life. Make sure you have the most innovative network, the smartest people, and the most advanced technology working for you. Ciena's GeoMesh. Undersea, over land, networks unite.
Looking to pick up your registration badge and materials or register for PTC'13? Visit the PTC'13 registration booth, located in the Coral Lounge on the 6th floor of the Mid-Pacific Conference Center at the Hilton Hawaiian Village Waikiki Beach Resort. The registration booth is open every day starting at 8 a.m. Please remember to bring a valid form of photo identification with you to claim your registration badge and materials. PTC'13 is made possible in part by the generosity of the PTC'13 sponsors. Mahalo to each of the PTC'13 Platinum sponsors. Thank you for all of your support.
PTC TV, thank you for joining us. We know you'll have a wonderful conference this week, and we look forward to seeing you throughout the week. Aloha.
During PTC'13, the PTC Secretariat will be located in C'13 on the 6th floor of the Mid-Pacific Conference Center at the Hilton Hawaiian Village Waikiki Beach Resort. If you need assistance from a member of the Secretariat, please visit C'13. PTC'13 is made possible in part by the generosity of the PTC'13 sponsors. Mahalo to each of the PTC'13 Gold sponsors. Thank you for all of your support. We hope you enjoyed Sunday's workshops, roundtables, industry briefings, and the opening reception. The fantastic sessions continue on Monday, starting with the keynotes at 8:30 a.m. After the keynotes, get ready to participate in the Executive Insight Roundtables. The Executive Insight Roundtables give you the opportunity to be a part of the sessions by asking questions and interacting with subject matter experts. Then in the afternoon, join us for topical sessions and more Executive Insight Roundtables.
Cloud services present some interesting and unique challenges to both cloud and network service providers. Today, the vast majority of cloud workloads are delivered over the public internet, and while that's appropriate for certain types of work, such as test and dev, it does not meet the security or the performance requirements for most corporate IT users. On the network side, it also tends to be the lowest margin product that a network delivers. In order to deliver the sorts of security and performance requirements that they need, what you need to do is attach the private WAN environment to the public or private cloud environment sitting in the data center. This has a dual benefit. It meets the corporate requirements as well as allowing the network service provider to sell a higher margin product. To that end, what we've seen are private NNIs being set up between network service providers, both parties joining things such as our Ethernet exchange in order to efficiently aggregate access to one another, as well as joining our Internet exchange in order to have access to the optimal Internet routes for those workloads appropriate for the Internet environment.
PTC'13 is made possible in part by the generosity of the PTC'13 sponsors. Mahalo to each of the PTC'13 silver sponsors. Thank you for all of your support. Visit the PTC Pavilion and meet with the PTC'13 exhibitors to learn about the latest in systems, products, and services. The exhibits are located in the PTC Pavilion in Coral Ballrooms 4 and 5 of the Mid-Pacific Conference Center. In addition to the exhibits, the PTC Pavilion also features meeting cubicles, meeting tables, conference luncheons, and more. Join us for the Tuesday evening reception sponsored by PTC'13 Diamond sponsor Tata Communications. All full conference delegates and delegates holding a one-day registration pass for Tuesday are invited to attend the Tuesday evening reception. The reception starts at 6:30 p.m. and will take place at the Super Pool at the Hilton Hawaiian Village Waikiki Beach Resort. A valid badge is required to attend the Tuesday evening reception, so please remember to bring your badge with you. If you would like to bring a guest, make sure your guest has a guest ticket. Guest tickets will be available for purchase at the door for $85. Looking for in-depth coverage of the day's sessions? Read the Comms Day Daily, brought to you by Comms Day, the official PTC'13 media partner. The special PTC'13 edition of the Comms Day Daily will be delivered to your email inbox tonight. The Daily will also be available on the PTC'13 website at ptc.org/PTC'13. Are you plugged into social media? Then join the conversation online. Follow PT Council on Twitter and use the PTC'13 hashtag #PTC'13. You can also like Pacific Telecommunications Council on Facebook. PTC'13 is made possible in part by the generosity of the PTC'13 sponsors. Mahalo to each of the PTC'13 bronze sponsors. Thank you for all of your support.
As a wholesale telecom carrier, you need to keep a tight control on costs without ever sacrificing quality. Introducing RimHub, the best partner to outsource your wholesale carrier functions with guaranteed cost savings and better customer experience. RimHub is guided by K. Paul Singh, co-founder, ex-chairman, and CEO of Primus Telecom, who built a profitable global wholesale business at Primus. RimHub's best-in-class service portfolio includes managed network provisioning, and cost of sales management. Our NOC, staffed with IP and TDM engineers, monitors and troubleshoots network issues for global carriers. Our network specialists are experts in provisioning voice and data circuits for carriers. Our telco auditors ensure you pay only for what you contracted. So why use RimHub? Achieve material cost savings, enhance operational flexibility, deliver a better customer experience. Contact us for a no-obligation assessment today, plus win an iPad mini.
Thanks for watching PTC TV. Be sure to join us tomorrow. Until then, aloha.